Yes. Earth Day 01092021. Yeah, it'll be a little bit corny. Anyway, I'm just gonna jump right into this right now. This is days after the carnage that we all witnessed online and all over. But that's not about it right now, it's about the game itself. So all I'm gonna say is I'm very thankful, for another day of being able to fix a few game bugs and after getting the green light from Google Play Store to be able to actually put my game on their platform. It has been quite a bit of a little journey of getting things up and out and being able to, really just work on a few things due to the, I would say, the atmosphere of things right now. I'm not gonna get too much into all the other politics or things. Just this is all about the game. Being able to get it onto the Play Store was a great thing. It was really a little hurdle because there's a few bugs that was in the game that was pretty much breaking the game, and learning a new platform such as Game Maker Studio 2 was something new to me. I had it, but I never really needed to use it because I could make my game in Game Maker Studio 1.4. But when migrating it across now, that became a little bit of a little hurdle, and a few little headaches along the way. But I was able to, because when I first tried to port the game over, they didn't accept anything from Game Maker Studio 1.4, which I kind of knew, but I was trying to see anyway. And when I imported it when I imported my game into Game Maker Studio 2, a lot of code that I wrote broke, and it was almost disastrous because it would, according to what I saw, I thought I was gonna have to rebuild the whole thing from scratch, and it was gonna be a nightmare. I do have to fix a few things going forward, but the critical one was fixed, which prevented anything from working. And yeah, but got past that. Luckily, I have the Game Studio 1.4 to release it through another side platform, which is called H.io. That allows people to sideload the game if they want, for other people that I can give it directly to. But just for sake of protecting or kind of protecting the game, I put it through the Android store. You can still probably find a way to rip it, but whichever. Yeah, so let me just jump into the meat of what it is that this is going to be about. So again, I was saying I'm thankful for being able to release the game and not release it, but more like get it on the greenlit on the Google Play Store, at least where I can have internal testers and so forth. Because Google is a big platform, and if I can get it onto their platform, that's a big step forward. And once that's there, then I can always migrate over to Apple if I get an Apple device, one day. But that was one of the biggest hurdles and a very important thing to do. So I'm not really expecting much of anything. When I put it on the Android store, will it sell? I don't know. It's that was not the initial thing. It's more for me to really learn the platform, because I'm not gonna get anywhere by just, like I'm not expecting my first game on an Android thing to, you know, sell like hotcakes. That's I'm just being real. It was just to make sure I can learn the platform, understand what I need to do. Cause so next time when I have to build another game, and I have a better understanding of things, I can succeed better. So this is initially, and of course, I broke the game into two. The game is built. The one that I'm releasing right now early is called Patrollin. What the hell? It's basically was a mode in the main game that allowed that was a little bit more ramped up. So I'll go into that right after I do my little talk here. But pretty much, it was just there was a level I made in the game that was a little bit harder than the regular game itself, and I was like, that'd be very cool to make it into its own game, which you can just release to anyone, so I can display it, so I can get audience, because that's the big thing too, especially now, is to make people know what your product is for it to work and sell. So that was pretty much really the gearing behind creating to break them into two. Will it confuse people? We'll see. The big thing is if this works out well, what I'm doing, because it's going to be released as a free game, but might have some ads in there. If it works out well with ads, I'll just probably just port the whole, once I finish the other part of the main game, I'll probably just port it right into that game itself, just for the sake of that. But we'll see how that plays out. If not, then I'll just make it its own. And what I could do then, if people don't want to do the ad thing, I can just make the whole thing into, you pay $1 or $1, and you get the whole game, whichever. And it removes that. But I think if I do that, people are gonna find ways to crack it and all kinds of silly things. But we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. But that's really the bottom line for that part. Regarding the selling part, it's being public beta. I'll probably push it public afterwards. I've got a few testers in. The one thing to notice that my background is not programming. I might know a little programming here and there, but I don't consider myself to be a programmer. No, I'm an artist. First and foremost, that's what I've learned. I'm an artist. I'm a storyteller. I know a lot about computers. I'm pretty handy and techy to some degree. I learned applications very well, but but programming was a struggle for me. Like I know, I have some math skills, but I am not no mathematician. I'm pretty much just learning things as I go along. But we'll see how this plays out. For lack of a better terms, I don't even know. What did somebody call me? They call me a technical artist or something like that. Yeah, we'll see. But I learned programming. Well, learned the language. I learned Adobe ActionScript 2, and then I tried to learn 3. And 3 was a little bit. Again, my background is not programming. I might do some web design here and there, but I'm not a programmer. I am the person will do the graphics and stuff like that. But I learned what I need to get by. That's how I put it. My first initial game that I released was called Born Fighters, that I made in Flash. And it was pretty much a fighting game. It's my attempt to make it a fighting game. But I learned a lot from that. I learned you need a team. And I learned to respect game developers a lot, because I know how much work they, I'm an artist and an animator, so I respect animators and artists. When I see things, I'm like, oh my God, that's a lot of work. I know what that will entail. So I respect artists. And of course, I respect game developers and programmers a lot more after making that game. It wasn't a perfect game, but again, getting something out was a big thing for me. I was like, okay, wow, I was able to make my own game. Fast forward a bit, or actually not even fast forward, step back a bit. Patrollin started out as a web series. My brother and I, Jermaine, we created the series together. Like, I came up with the idea. It was initially called NIGS, Negroes in Galactic Space. Probably not Negroes, or something else, but whichever. Hey, I was young. But we shortened it up and just called it Patrollin. And my brother, he did the music and the story. He writes pretty well. I really wish he understood how much I admire that he's writing. But we did like 4 episodes for Patrollin, and we wrapped it on that. We may go back to it, but we'll see. But then a few years later, I said, hey, you know what? What if I take that and make it into a game? And, I started, working on some concepts and some drawings based upon the web series, and shot it over to somebody who I knew was a programmer, but, he didn't really have much time, but he did like a quick little mock-up on when he did it. Because at first I was thinking about, not F-Zero. There's another game that I played that I was envisioning it on. Hyperzone. Hyperzone was the game I was looking at, and I was like, oh my God, Hyperzone. I wish I could make a game make Patrollin into like a Hyperzone kind of a thing, with that old space thing, how it was. I was like, I don't know, I'll try. And I asked somebody to do it. He was doing it in 3D, and he did a nice little job. But then I was like, yeah, that's not exactly what I want. So then I tried different little things, and of course, we tried different ways, and I was trying to program things in different, all kind of stuff. And then settled on the current idea and concept of what it is right now. And then I moved from there. Yeah, but I think he was doing it in, because I initially started in Flash, then he tried to do it in Unity, but Unity requires hella cash, and I wasn't going to do that. I hate subscriptions for certain applications, so that's all I'm going to say on that. And then game developer game maker studio was out. I was like, let me try that, and then I was able to get a key from, what's that thing, Humble Bundle had a key for the whole game maker suite 1.4, and I bought it, and then I just fell in love, but I didn't know how to use it. So then I had to find a way to learn the application. So I looked around. I found some things on YouTube, but then I also found some things on Udemy. Udemy? Udemy. I don't know how to pronounce that. Whichever it's, I think it's Udemy or Udemy, whatever, however you want to pronounce it. But either way, there's a dude named Benjamin. His tagline is Heart Beast, and he had a phenomenal course. I bought that, and I studied the hell out of that thing, and learned as much as I can about Game Maker. And there he has several things, I think 3 or 4 different courses up there, and I basically just I absorbed that. Oh, the game turned off. No. Okay, there we go. All right, sorry about that. I absorbed pretty much everything from that, and learned from there. I went around to different people with different things, and how would I say, yeah, I'm not even going to try to cut up this video. This is going to go up as it is. I'm not going to do no edits. This is what it is. But it was just simply just the idea of just absorbing things and moving forward. And once I felt I got to where I needed to be, I said, okay, time to make the game. And I worked on a bunch of different things. I incorporated so many different codes from different people. Like there's a lot of forums online that you can get information from, and I was able to get a ton of data from people, and to make the game. And I, their names are in the credits and stuff like that. But I understand. I'm just making this video just to, like, if people don't feel like reading what I wrote, which is probably a lot more less wordy. It looks lengthy, but I have a lot of how would I say, filler in what I'm talking about right now versus what's written. But it is, it was a big thing for me, like just to get the game out. Initially when I first made it, and before I pushed it on Android store, and it, could still play it on my phone, was a big thing. But then when I tried putting it on Android store and then it didn't work, it was a crushing blow, because basically now I had a barrier, and now since I'm able to get past the barrier, it's like, oh my god, the world is open to me now again. Because I can put it on itch, but no one knows about itch.io, and but everybody who has an Android will know about Android Play Store. So again, anyway, my thing is, if you have an idea, goal, dream, or whichever, do it, work on it. Never just fizzle. Like you only live once. People tell actually, what they say, no, you only die once. You live every day. So try to enjoy your life. It's like, try to do what you love. Like I normally used to say, like, if I was to die today or tomorrow or whichever, like I want to die knowing that I did something that I enjoyed doing, rather than doing something that I hated. And regardless of if yes, you have to do something, you have to work or whichever, I enjoy my job that I do, and I do multiple different jobs. I'm not even going to get into that, but it's like doing something that you really enjoy is also something that's very important, and you should never let that go. So anyway, let me just jump quickly into the game. It's 14 minutes in now. So I just made one little thing, and of course that little thing that opened up that's you gotta thank my motion graphics skill for that. That's not coded, just so you know. That's actually the whole thing is animated. And I might actually switch it down and make it smaller. And yeah, I notice it's a little bit too big, but whichever. And that's not neither here nor there. So let me pause this for a second. The controls that you saw right there came from another person. I forgot his name, JM2 or something like that, and I gave him credit too because basically he created that, and I saw it and I bought it. Was an asset. I bought it off the Game Maker Studio store, and then I modified it to fit my needs. Because his thing was like two joy things. Well, one was to move, one was to turn. I was like, what if I make this other one on the right become something that controls my different weapons and things of that nature? And that's where it came to be. And as you can see, that's the game, and it's a little blurry right now. There are a few little things that are going to change. Like I'm just, like this is not going to be an overkill of a game. This is just going to simply be what it is. It's supposed to be a survival game where people jump in, play, have fun, jump out, whichever, move on. Now that it's tied in, it will be tied in with the Play Store. Now I can have a leaderboard, which I couldn't do because, like how it was going to be tied. I was like, oh my God, I'm so annoyed now. But now I can actually work on a leaderboard system. So if you were playing it on Android Play Store, you have a leaderboard. So that's the next big thing I want to work on. And I think that will help the game move forward too, because people like to be super challenging about things. So we'll see. But it's a simple shooter, like it's a very simple shooter, nothing crazy. So this is pretty much the hard mode. But if you actually get out, and I just put this here just for testers, I'll change that. But this basically allows you to actually play test one of the actual build for the regular game. And as I go on, I'm gonna change the enemy, change the boss, because basically right now you're playing against, I think, the level 2 boss. Well, not right away. And you are probably playing the level 2. Throughout the game's life cycle, I've added a lot of different things. Like as you can see, these are all little things that objects you can grab. But you'll realize very soon how important those objects are. In the main, because basically you can shoot past them, but watch, see, they can't shoot past it. So the debris will actually help you in the long run. So, and of course you see the new little weapon systems that I've implemented, or different, yeah, those were done. One of my buddies was saying, yeah, well, aren't you gonna put that into the game? And I'm like, yeah, but it's not ready yet. I don't want to do that. But I threw it in, and I seem to love it. But I'm gonna have to. I was just doing a little play test with the different power-up looks, just because I didn't want it to look so like a regular power-up. I want it to be a little bit different. So pretty much it. I'm not gonna play the whole game. I'm just showing you how different it is. Oh, and all right, let me get myself killed. The most important part of this is when you die. Don't ask me why. I'll tell you in a second. So when you restart, you hear that Dragon Ball. My love for Dragon Ball, I had to put that in there. That's something I simply had to add. And you might hear some little noise in the background. That might be my son. Don't want to go to sleep, but yeah. And if you notice, you see, them shooting at you is a lot slower than in this sector 1 or sector 2. Doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna put up my shields. There you go. All right. Anyway, enough talk. That was good enough for me to actually just give you a quick rundown of that. It ran into 20 minutes. I'm sorry for that. But pretty much I just want to give a great detail of what I'm working on and what's the next step. Until then, thank you for tuning in. Have a good day.